We have a movie to add to your Christmas movie
Yes.
viewing, and I am very excited to find more about it. And the lovely Katie Miller is joining us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yay.
It's actually good evening here, but
Well, that's
good morning
right.
to you guys.
Yeah, morning
Yes.
to us. Yeah.
So good to have you connecting with us from the States. And it's exciting to talk to you because we'll get to the movie shortly, but we want to talk a
this
bit
is
about
amazing.
your history because this is a movie that's been produced by Sight and Sound, which is just sort of getting into film, but you guys have been involved with theatre, like live theatre for years, decades in fact. But you just told us that you're actually sort of third generation from the founders. So like you're part of the family of Sight and Sound. So quite an amazing heritage for you.
It is. It's been quite a ride, and I'm just incredibly grateful to have a small part to play. But my grandparents founded Sight and Sound nearly 50 years ago.
Wow.
And we are known here. We have 2 theater locations, and we're known for bringing Bible stories to life on stage, as what we have been known for the last 50 years. And so we have 2 theaters here in the States. They seat 2,000 people. That's a 300-foot wraparound stage. We have live animals that run up and down the aisles. And it truly is an experience, and one that we hope transports audiences back in time to be in the Bible stories themselves as they unfold.
Now, I remember when we were in lockdown over Easter, it got to play. We got to see one on and the kids were just mesmerized. And I was like, oh, to be in that audience.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes. So you're a little bit familiar with us. So we've
that's
been
amazing.
doing that for many years. We actually started because my grandfather, he grew up as a farmer actually and wanted to be a farmer for his whole life.
Yeah.
And his mother died very tragically in his late teens. And his dad came home one day and said to my grandfather and his brother, I can't do this without your mom. I sold the family farm. You have to find something else to do.
Oh, wow.
And he was engaged to be married. So he found himself basically a newlywed without a vocation trying to make ends meet. And he began relying on creativity, taking photography and doing paintings and peddling them out of the back of his car. And eventually put a slideshow together for his church. This was in the 60s. So multimedia was becoming a really big thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it truly did launch from there. That first slideshow kind of exploded. They traveled the country for a long time before deciding to put down roots and see if people would come to them. And that really did set the stage for what we've grown into today.
That's amazing. What an incredible story. Well, it's a great heritage, obviously, and I guess the skills and everything involved with stage shows.
Yeah.
I mean, it can translate into into film.
Yes.
And so you've just begun getting into film and even TV shows as well. But this is a new movie that's out for Christmas, as mentioned. But beautiful film. It's called I Heard the
looks
Bells.
amazing.
And it's sort of set back in the Civil War era, so it's a time piece, but just a really wonderful production values that you guys have captured in this, telling the story of Henry Wordsworth Longfellow. So he was a very iconic character back in that era, just telling the story of, he really saw some incredible tragedy through his life, and I guess worked through that grief and. Decided to not put his pen down. I guess for a time he was silent with his poetry, but decided to pick up the pen again and do something with it. So tell us a little bit more about what people can expect to going to watch I Heard the Bells.
Yeah, we are just super thrilled for this opportunity to take our storytelling. You said it so well, but beyond the stage and onto the big screen in a different way. And, when we started really seeking the Lord on what story we wanted to be able to tell, this one quickly rose to the top. And truthfully, it was at the start of 2020 when we started talking about all of this. It was before everything we've experienced the last couple of years. And now to be on this side of it and watching this the timing of this story really come to life is remarkable for us, because I think there's so much that no matter what part of the world you're from, no matter what your own experience has been, we've all experienced some level of loss over the last several years. We've all experienced our countries, those around us being in conflict and strife. And so there's so much about Henry's life as it unfolds that resonates, I think, with a lot of us in many different ways, and in ways we never could have imagined when we set out to produce this film. And so now, we've had a few screenings, and we had a premiere here, which we were super excited to do. And just some of the stories that have come out, we had a family reach out to us that attended the premiere, and they said, we had to bury our son last year. They lost a small child, actually. And they said, we've been wrestling with the questions of why and how to find hope for the last year. And this film, the willingness to depict Henry's despair and his, his questions that he was asking, like, where is God? Is God dead? Is he sleeping? Like, where is he when this tragedy unfolds? It just meant so much to them. And it broke my heart. I can barely say it without crying. But they said, it gave us the freedom to ask the same questions. And even just that made us not feel so alone as they process this Christmas. And I think that there's going to be so many people, hopefully that's our prayer, that find new hope through watching this story unfold.
That's so good. And I think the wonderful thing is, obviously this is going to be in cinemas here in Australia from this Thursday, from the 1st of December. So you're going to get a lot of people that are just going to turn up and say, oh, let's go watch a Christmas movie. But they're going to hear the gospel and really get a great sense of hope, for their lives, whether they're coming from a church background or not. So I'm excited to think about, some of the lives that will be impacted, just through that. Just people just, saying, oh, yep, let's just go watch this, not really knowing even what to expect.
Yeah, no, I think so too. And, the other thing that I think that just so hit me was just Henry. The film is about Henry. To your point, he was a really famous poet. He was best friends with Charles Dickens. That was the same time period. And they were buddies, and they were two of the most famous people in the world at the time. In that time period, poets were celebrities. That's the writers and the poets of the time. That's where everybody was tuning into, so to speak. And it is a film about Henry, but it's also a film about his son Charlie, and Charlie's journey of trying to navigate a father who is struggling in life, who is dealing with, emotional and mental illnesses and depression as he's trying to figure out how to move forward from tragedy. And even that, I think there's going to be so many people that have, again, been in that season of walking alongside loved ones who are really struggling this time of year. It can be hard. It's a joyful season, and this film does depict that. It's joyful, it's fun, it's warm and fuzzy, but it's not always that way.
Yeah, exactly.
And so
it's finding joy in every situation, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
like it's that, and that is really good at Christmas time. And it, God's timing is always perfect. So as you said, here it's coming out at a time where people sometimes need a pick me up, and I also think a timely reminder in a busy season to keep your eyes up as well.
100%, absolutely. And you said it there, it's one of my favorite lines in the film. It's repeated many times, but lift your eyes, like, where are you looking at? What are you focusing on? And how do you, wrestle with the hard questions, but be willing to open your heart to find new hope that might look different than what we thought. There's empty seats around the table. There's, estranged relationships, and even just the loss of jobs, and just so much has changed in the last several years. So bringing both of those things together in the middle of celebrating the holiday, I think that is the Christmas story. Jesus didn't come in a perfect time.
That's right.
He came in the midst of a lot of unrest. And so it really is the Christmas story in a very different way. If you look at it.
Well, I encourage you to get out and see it. It's a wonderful movie. It's called I Heard the Bells. It'll be in cinemas this week, as mentioned. And you can find the details at iheardthebellsmovie.com.au. You'll find cinema locations there. It's quite extensive across the country. So check it out, iheardthebellsmovie.com.au. But Katie, thanks so much for sharing a bit of the movie, but some of your story too. It's fascinating to hear the way that your family has just grown into this amazing ministry over the last few decades.
Absolutely. It's been an honor to be with you guys. Thank you so much. We're so excited to be, in our own way, celebrating Christmas all the way across the world with all of you.